I am originally from California, but right now, and I'm so glad to be here. I just won a free trip on the T-28 plane that was in Vietnam War, that the Hmong people used to always ride and to help the Americans in the CIA. And I'm truly, truly happy. I don't know. I always wanted to do the what is it called? The like jumping off of the plane ride, but I guess this will be the next best thing. And it's probably going to be better than the state fair ride. So I'm happy. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy, but I'm a little nervous.
I was hoping there were 2 winners, so I'd be the second one.
Oh. For a little plane, it kind of struggle, and I was like, I don't know. And I was like, something's driving me to come here. So I came. And I hardly ever wear anything. So I was just like, wow, I can't believe it. Okay, but I'm very happy and I'm thankful that I won it, and it's going to be an experience I can tell my kids and grandkids.
Right.
You'll be the first Hmong women
to
fly in T-28 in America here.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be historical.
Did they even have any women that fly it back then?
No women.
You know what I also wanted to do? Be the first Hmong women to learn how to sail a boat around the world. That's what I wanted to do too.
You can still do it.
I know, but you know.
I wish there were 2 seats in the back so they can draw another number, and hopefully it's me, and we can go together, right? No, there's only 1 seat.
Only one.
Oh, because I'm going to say, why don't you go with me?
Yes. I talked to pilot already, and I talked to the wife too, so I was hoping.
There's no way for you to go on there and hold up.
That way we can hold hands together and then be up there.
I only ride on the plane a few times in my life. And so that's why.
So you have no fear, right?
No, she knows how to prevent it.
Prevent it, yes.
I get that.
Okay.
I'm the vice president of the Lao-Hmong Foundation that's working on this. We're going to put an airplane like this in a monument in Colorado.
Yes, I saw.
Yeah, pictures. Yeah. So that's what we plan to do. And he's a very good pilot. He's a retired National Guard pilot for the jets, and he also flew for the airline. So he's very safe. But he's really tired. If he falls aslebe, just grab the stick and keep it level.
I'll take over like Top Gun.
Yeah,
there you go. We're going to call you Rooster.
Oh. I'll be Rooster. Okay.
We'll help you up there.
I'm going to get up first.
You'll get up first.
Okay, cool.
All right, so watch how I do this.
Okay.
Ready?
Right foot, left foot,
right
foot, right foot.
Left foot, right foot.
There we go. It's real easy.
Okay.
So we'll help you. So let's just hold on. Left foot in here.
Like here?
I'm a pilot! Yes!
Okay. Recheck. Check your own aircraft. Right there.
That was easy.
Now, remember how they did that? That's how you do it back there.
Okay.
Now, we're going to have you take your left foot and put it right there.
Okay. Left
And then you're going to step in and stand on the seat.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll put both these in here.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Left foot. Okay.
There we go. You're doing great. You can be a pilot. Holy cow.
Well, my brother says he's going to join the Air Force soon to be a pilot. He's always wanted to fly a plane. Maybe the adventure genius in us.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful, first of all, to our pilot, Jay. Thank you for all your hard work here, and your beautiful assistant, your wife, Julie. And before I took this flight, I was nervous, and I've never been on a plane like this before, and I always wanted to fly and skydive, so this is the best next thing. And then during the plane flight, my experience is that it was so beautiful. It's like flying magically on my own magic carpet. It wasn't crazy turbulence and it was beautiful getting to see the Twin Cities, and we both don't know what this area is called, but it was very beautiful. It's perfect weather. There's lots of houses and properties and all these patches of beautiful spots here. I'm very excited. I'm happy. And now that I'm done, I'm so thankful we both landed safely. And I know we are both divinely guided all the time. And so I'm truly thankful for and honored for this prize. And now I can say I flew. Our sort of skydive flew. But thank you, Jay, again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Give you a thought about your co-pilot. What did she do a good job?
Yes, her new call sign is Rooster
Rooster.
from Maverick. So she's the backseater, and she was telling me where the bad guys were. So we were shooting them down left and right.
Yes, there you go. I got his back. Thank you.
When they need it, you fly
Appetizers and drinks in the back of the room. Thank you so much for being here today, and we'll begin the program at 6 p.m. Thank you. Thank you. You may sit. Nhớ trong ý trong cái tin anh chàng suốt lời không như ô chàng mấy suốt lời tôi nữ nó tôi cầu lúc party nó. And welcome everyone to this joyous occasion as we are set to unveil the mission and vision of the National Lao-Hmong National Memorial. With your support, groundbreaking will begin in 2024. My name is Fong. I will be your MC this evening. And as a journalist by training, I am weepy today. I am weepy and I am empowered by all of your stories. I'm hungry for the stories from so many of you who lived through this era, who served during this time, who served at home waiting for their family members at this time, and those of you who keep the memories of that time alive. Secret no more. Let's tell these stories. Let's memorialize this time. Let's honor the 35,000 Hmong Lao veterans who died and perished during the secret war. I want to first welcome the mayor of the city of St. Paul, South St. Paul, Mayor James Francis, who has a special phrase he just told me. He says it takes all of us to make anything happen. And I'm going to let you say it with your beautiful voice. Come on up here and allow Mayor James Francis to welcome you all here.
Well, welcome to South St. Paul, everybody. That's right. It's nice to see you all here, and we appreciate you coming to South St. Paul to celebrate this. When we got the phone call or the email or whatever it was months ago for all of this planning, the first thing I said was yes. How do we make it happen? Because if you want to bring that to South St. Paul, we want to help and support that. We are a city made of immigrants. South St. Paul Stockyards in 1887 started our stockyards and employed hundreds of thousands of immigrants of all cultures through our city. And so we've been welcoming to cultures for decades, and it's still the same today. So we're very proud to be here and welcome you all to our city. Again, thank you very much for choosing us for this, and I look forward to seeing all the presentation and very, again, proud to host you here in South St. Paul. Thank you.
And next, to hear more and to unveil the special memorial that will take place near Denver, Colorado in just a little 2 years is our friend John Herr. He serves as chairman of the National Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation. Over 20 years ago, John met a man named Yang Chi, and they began farming an interest in the U.S. Secret War and the Lao-Hmong people. That led to John's desire to create the foundation in order to educate the public on the U.S. Secret War and acknowledge the patriotism and suffering of the Lao-Hmong people, and to create a national legacy that will inspire and educate generations to come. Please welcome everyone, John Herr.
Thank you, Bella. We're honored tonight by the presence of this wonderful group of people. You are influencers. You are people who set an example of high achievement in the Lao-Hmong community. It makes members of our board and myself very proud to be here and to be a part of this. In this group, we have engineers, judges, people who've achieved advanced degrees, all the way to doctorate, military officials, government officials, and many other distinguished achievements. I'd also like to acknowledge the Confederate Air Force. Thank you for so generously making this wonderful facility available to us. Could we please give these people a good hand? Thank you. It couldn't be more perfect for the events that we've had here yesterday, today, and of course this evening. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the principal organizer of this event, Honorary Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation board member, John V. Yang. John, would you please stand? Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge our other board members, and I'll ask you to please stand. Yang Chi, Bill Holan, Vang Kao. Yang Mi Shong Lor is not able to be here, we have honorary board members Beatrice Vang Hazelton, Lee Moa, who I call a force of nature. Where is Lee? She is a force of nature. Mia Yang Foster, Wayne Seikow, Suicha, he tells us to call him Noi. He lets us call him Noi. I'm going to mispronounce his last name, please forgive me. Hiran Krek? Am I close? Sort of, yes, sort of, okay, all right. I also want to acknowledge Pasi Yang. Thank you, Posse. Herr. I have to tell you, this woman is a tremendously talented speaker. She delivered, of all the addresses, and there were many excellent speakers at the inaugural event in Colorado. What touched me the most was the story that Sia shared of her family's, how her family managed to come to the United States. I must also include our appreciation for our talented and tireless consultant, John O'Donnell. Big John, he's right here in the corner. John, thank you for all that you've done over the years. The T-28 fighter bomber you see is painted in the colors of what was the Royal Laotian Air Force. The plane was purchased by the Foundation, painted and restored to its original condition under the supervision of Chief Pilot, who's also a United Airlines pilot and trainer, Alan Cook. Eventually the plane, you know what, I'm going to correct myself on this, Colonel Cleet, because I was going to say eventually the plane is going to be repurposed and placed on top of a pedestal on the memorial, as you have seen in the pictures and video. And Colonel Cleet has come to me tonight and said that he has a decommissioned T-28 here in the Minneapolis area that would be a great fit for us, and we appreciate that, Colonel. Thank you very much. That means that this magnificent plane that a lot of work has gone into can continue to operate. Eventually, this plane or a plane like this will be set upon a pedestal as the center point of this magnificent memorial in Westminster City Park, just north of Denver. Here in St. Paul, our plane is piloted by Jay Gates, a skilled pilot who's also a trainer for the T-28. Would you mind standing, Jay? Because a lot of you, how many rides did you give today? 9 out of 10? Eight rides today in that plane. And then the poor guy, after he puts the plane away and he thinks he's done, I'm going to blame John Yang for this. Said, it would look so much better to have the plane facing us like this as opposed to being sideways. And it really does look great, John. I couldn't agree with you more. So thank you. Jay is also the wing commander for the Denver branch of the Commemorative Air Force and retired from the Colorado Air National Guard. Jay is here with his beautiful wife, Julie, who flies backseat and helps with navigation and serves coffee to the captain, so he doesn't do anything crazy. I can't speak about this project without acknowledging board member Shang Chi and the Honorable Bill Holen, Arapahoe County, Colorado Commissioner. Their efforts to bring about this memorial began long before I became involved. Chi's and Bill's belief and persistence in the National Memorial brings us to this day. Gentlemen, you have been the wind beneath the wings of this project. And we would not be here were it not for your passionate belief in this national memorial. Chi and Bill, would you mind please standing, please, so we can acknowledge you. Thank you very much. The mission of the National Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation is to acknowledge, honor, and educate the public about the more than 35,000 Lao-Hmong and more than 700 Americans who died during the U.S. Secret War. We believe it is also important to represent the peaceful lives of the Lao-Hmong people, in those days mostly farmers, who joined with the United States in the interest of preserving freedom and the fundamental human right of self-determination. In 1975, when the United States abruptly left Vietnam and Laos, thousands were left to face the communist Pathet Lao forces, determined to commit genocide on the freedom-loving people of Laos. Many Lao-Hmong people managed dangerous escapes to refugee camps in Thailand and eventually emigrated to the US. We hope to eventually preserve some of those stories, to preserve those on video that we can keep on our website, because we think those stories tell a very, very compelling story about how the Lao-Hmong people have persevered. Recently, Congressman Ed Perlmutter asked the Biden administration to formally acknowledge the U.S. secret war with a presidential proclamation that perpetually makes July 22 National Lao-Hmong Recognition Day. Congressman Perlmutter has been unwavering in his support, thanks largely to you, Bill. Bill was a staffer. Congressman Perlmutter assisted the foundation in being awarded $250,000 to be used toward the construction of this memorial. And it's this kind of support that adds momentum to our effort to build a world-class national memorial. Some may ask why Colorado will be the home of the memorial. And some may wonder, why not California, Wisconsin, Minnesota, or perhaps another state? And I think it's a fair question. Frankly, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter where the memorial is. Rather, the only thing that should matter is that the memorial exists. It should matter that the memorial acknowledges the sacrifices that were made by the Lao-Hmong people. It should matter that the memorial acknowledges the bravery and valor of the Special Guerrilla Units, the SGU, under the direction of General Vang Pao in Military Region 2. It should matter that the memorial acknowledges the families who were split apart and their dangerous escapes to freedom. It should matter that the Lao-Hmong role in the U.S. Secret War saved thousands of lives of freedom-loving South Vietnamese, Americans and allies in South Vietnam, who would have otherwise been exposed on another front, were it not for the interdiction of Lao-Hmong forces to prevent the communists from leveraging neutral Laos for their dastardly attempts to enslave freedom-loving people. It should matter that the memorial will celebrate the Lao-Hmong people of America who, in the space of one generation, achieved more success through education and hard work than any other group of immigrants. And this room is full of those people who have accomplished just that. Please give yourselves a hand. It should matter that the memorial will preserve the incredible history of the Lao-Hmong people, a people who have endured oppression, a people who have valued their freedom, a people who persevered, survived, and ultimately prospered. It should matter that the memorial will be a magnificent achievement, worthy of being a national memorial. Those who are living, those who are yet to be born, and your families will know that this exists to honor their heritage. They'll visit the memorial in Colorado. They'll look toward the mountains. Mountains that we would call the mountainous areas of Laos, where the Hmong simply wanted to live free in peace. They will read plaques that tell the story of the U.S. Secret War. They will read and recognize the names of the 18 Hmong clans. And they will take pride in knowing their family helped support and to make this possible. For those of you of Lao-Hmong heritage, especially those who were born here in the U.S., I know you feel pride in knowing your extraordinary elders and ancestors have made it possible for you to enjoy freedom and the opportunities to achieve boundless success in America. Each of you and those who came before you make this country a much better place. This memorial will celebrate the past, the present, and equally important, the future, a future that will see your children and children's children rising up through education and determination to achieve the American dream. A dream that some who lack drive and determination say is elusive, but a dream that the Lao-Hmong people prove is and always will be achievable. We hope to earn your support for this project. I can assure you of the commitment of the board of directors to see this project all the way through to completion. Again, I want to thank John B. Yang, John O'Donnell, and the many others who've worked tirelessly to make this event possible. Most importantly, I thank each of you for being here, for your presence tonight. I know we look forward to the completion of this magnificent national memorial. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for your passion and your support for this project. I know that T28 is very special even to you, and it is quite special to see it right here as our backdrop for tonight's evening. And I know you talked about the options of what it would look like at this site in Denver, whether it would be a bronze replica or a shell of this T28. And you just couldn't handle the bronze replica. Just would not be the same. And I appreciate that. It is a symbol of Hmong fighters and our support for the U.S. Army and the U.S. military during that time. So thank you so much, John. And I also appreciate your note for the peaceful soldiers during that time and the survivors. So many of them with us today, and so many of them who are not with us today. And those stories we know have to be, again, memorialized. We know what happens when we don't get to write the stories. We don't get to write history. Someone else will write our history for us. So we have the opportunity to do that. Each one of us in the room gets an opportunity to support this project. We have a special guest with us also in the room. I want to welcome now the Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives. State Representative Melissa Hortman represents House District 36B, which is home to a large Hmong American community. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Melissa Hortman, and I have the privilege to serve as the Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives. I'm also fortunate to serve on the Minnesota Council of Asian Pacific Minnesotans. I'm a legislative board member on that group, and it's an honor to be with all of you here today. Thank you especially to the National Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation, to Board Chair John Horan, and to the full Board of Directors for inviting me to be here today. I know that it has been a long process to get to this day, and I want to express my appreciation to all those who've worked so hard to bring this memorial closer to reality. As Speaker of the House, I'm so proud of the Minnesota Asian Pacific Caucus in the legislature and for all their work over the last 4 years, including in 2019, establishing May 14th as Hmong Special Guerrilla Unit's Remembrance Day. I remember the incredibly moving speech that Representative Tu Zhang gave on the House floor when he talked about the secret war, with veterans, leaders, and elders looking on from the House gallery. He talked about the importance of honoring these Lao-Hmong fighters and that this measure was a reminder that Americans and Minnesotans do not forget their allies, especially those who fought alongside American soldiers for the values this nation stands for. He reminded us of the persecution that Hmong men, women, and children faced when Laos fell in 1975, and how they eventually came to America to follow their friends and to start a new life. And that the point of the Remembrance Day and a memorial similar to this is so that future generations will be able to know the sacrifices their ancestors made for them so they could live a better life. I'm proud that the bill providing the Remembrance Day passed unanimously in the Minnesota House of Representatives 133-0, and it's now the law in this state. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your work to honor these heroes, and thank you again for inviting me to be a part of this special day.
Thank you. We have another special guest. It's Colonel James Cleet of the 133rd Airlift Wing, or of the 133rd Airlift Wing Commander of the Minnesota National Guard. Thank you. I spoke to Colonel really quickly before, and while he knows of the history of the Hmong, even he was surprised by the vast support offered by the Hmong to the United States during that time. And it is a great appreciation of our community that he comes to welcome you all today.
I'm going to get personal just for a brief moment before I use my prepared remarks here. My father served, flew C-130s in Vietnam, Thailand, and I did not know until maybe 2 or 3 years ago in Laos during this time period. So because of the secret war, because we don't talk about this history, I did not know my own history in regard to this and the service of the Hmong population during that war. So that's why I'm here. I put on this uniform 31 years ago because of my father, because of his service, and so I'm here to say thank you, and I'm honored to be here. I am honored to be here with you tonight on behalf of Major General Sean Menke, the Minnesota Adjutant General. He appointed me to be the Minnesota National Guard's Asian Pacific Islander Council Chair, and it is with great honor and thanks that I attend this evening's activities. Thank you to the National Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation for inviting me here tonight. The National Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation has been working diligently for years to make this a possibility, to building a beautiful memorial in Colorado to commemorate the Lao-Hmong service during the Vietnam War. I cannot emphasize how important a memorial such as this is. This is how we remember our history and how we recognize the service and sacrifice of those people who came before us. And when I started researching for my remarks tonight, I did not know there were 35,000 Lao-Hmong who perished fighting for their freedom in Southeast Asia. And I don't believe there's a lot of other people who know those facts, and this memorial here is going to help them learn and continue to learn about that history. One, so we don't repeat such things again, so we don't lose fact that freedom and service toward freedom is worth the sacrifice, very similar to what's happening in Ukraine right now. So thank you for having me to remember that. As a member for the Air Force for the last 31 years, I know firsthand how partnerships are what make the United States military so successful. It is partners like our Hmong American community that help win and keep the peace around the world and freedom for our people. As I stand before you today as a fellow American, I want to thank you for your friendship to the United States Armed Forces and recognize those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in that service. It is because of Americans like all of you and your ancestors that so many Hmong Americans proudly serve in the armed forces today. And please, a round of applause for the gentleman wearing a uniform you see him in the back there. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you very much for your service. I am proud to stand beside you to be part of this well-deserved honor, and thank you again for allowing me to be here tonight.
Thank you very much. State Senator Fong is the voice of the East Side, or the heartbeat of the Hmong community. Please help me welcome Senator Fong to the stage.
Thank you for the introduction, and want to welcome all of you. It is an honor to be here as well. To be in front of distinguished guests, like our speaker, Melissa Hortman, state senator, state representative to Sean, soon to be state senator, all right? And then also Representative Hanson, and many guests from Colorado that are here with us today. And thank you for the Commemorative Air Force in Minnesota here. I'd like to be here in South St. Paul sometime, and glad to see you, Mayor, again. And I'm going to use the same joke that you always tell people, that welcome to South St. Paul, we come in peace. So we also come in peace as Hmong people. It's a great thing. It's a great vision, great idea to build the commemoration, the Lao-Hmong National Memorial at Colorado. I remember in 1993 to the 4, right? The first commemoration back in the days when Mr. Yang Chi organized and bring all of us together. That's the first time when American Air Force officially recognized the Hmong sacrifice in this country. And looking back, we came a long way. And I thank you to the idea, the vision, and leaders from Denver, Colorado for informing the Hmong American community and our community here in Minnesota. And we are with you. I will do what I can to support this project from the Minnesota side. So if I can help in any way, let me know. Having a display like today add a lot of momentum and history to my people. As I see the T-28 here, it takes me back to as a child in the Longcheng airfield and meet with great warrior like Li Lu and so many other, and touch it. I haven't touched it yet. I'm gonna go there and touch. And as you know, we were Highlander, Hmong were Highlander of Laos back then. My father always told me that it's a shock for them when they are recruited and trained to be parachute shooter, radio man, or pilot. Because even though, despite that we're a Highlander, we never thought that we would be dropped as parachuter from the air to the ground. So that was quite traumatizing for the Hmong soldier at that time when they were in training. And my father said every time when they're parachute training, many Hmong soldiers will said they have to be excused or be absent. But it takes time to progress. And time, it wasn't months or years. Time was just a couple of days. Barefoot Hmong soldier from the highland down, training just a few days to become ready radio man. A few days, put them on a C-130 and drop them down. And the next day they're certified as parachuter. And they train the strongest army in the world to rescue American soldiers. The word of our great revered Hmong general said we're gonna have to lose 100 men just to save one American soldier. That's what he told us. And talk about the general, I also want to take this time to honor his daughter too, Yang Bang Pao. Ying, are you still here? General daughter is here with us. And General's daughter, Yang Bang Pao, want to keep her father's legacy alive, and she's running for county commissioner this year in Ramsey County. Just so that those of you who don't know are aware. So I'm looking forward to the completion of the Lao-Hmong National Memorial. I look forward to visit Denver, Colorado to see the completion. But at the same time, when we build memorial, whether it's in Sheboygan, whether it's in Kansas, or even at our state capitol ground, we had the Hmong Lao Veteran Memorial there. Sometimes I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings that why are we building a memorial when this country don't even recognize us? That we were soldiers, our ancestor, our elder was soldier of this country. But then again, on the other hand, that's why we had to build the memorial, so that we are part of this history. That's why our elder, when they are buried at Rosemont Cemetery or Jackson Cemetery or in St. Paul, Minnesota, 99% of them were engraved on their tombstone. Being pilot, being a SU man, and the woman would engrave on their tombstone, saving American soldier. Because since we are not recognized by this country, we're gonna recognize ourselves, and that's how they did it. And we're gonna recognize ourselves by building a memorial. Because why wait for someone to tell us that we are American? We are American. We were Americans. And I will do my part as a state senator, trying to fight for veteran benefits so that SGU have equal benefit as well as other veterans. Because what are we telling other allies who've been helping us right now? That life is not worth it if you're a proxy soldier to America. Because since we didn't recognize them all. So I will do my part and will call to our Congress and President Biden that please give recognition, give full benefit to our remaining veterans, that there are so few left. And so today I thank you for bringing the display here, and I look forward to the completion in Colorado. I'll do what I can to support you. So thank you, and God bless you all, and God bless America.
Thank you, Senator. Another wonderful voice representing the Hmong community and so many others on the east side, just a little bit east of Senator Fong's district, is Representative Tu Zhang. Please welcome him. He serves as, he represents the House District 53A, which is part of Maplewood and other areas.
Thank you. Thank you, Nyazongnan. Well, when I got the call from John Yang, I was excited. Prepping here was, happy, excited. but also sad, but proud. You know, one of the first things I sent to John was a list of all our veterans, the senior ranking members. And we wanted them to come and see this too. But they're getting up there in age, so many of them couldn't join us for today. But we do have a couple of veterans that are here. Could you please stand up, Captain Giftu, could you please stand up some of our SGU veterans from the Super Bowl? And so there's so much feelings, memories that comes when we look at this airplane. I've been seeing pictures of this plane since I was 3 or 4. Videos, pictures. And so I just want to thank the committee, both Johns, for putting this together, taking the time, learning about our Hmong community, and putting your efforts and giving us this memorial so that we can teach future generations about what the sacrifices had gone into to bring us here to this country. So I was born here, I'm born and raised here in Minnesota, a full Minnesota kid. And the only things I ever heard about Laos or the T-28 was stories from my grandfather. And I remember this past couple of weeks we had listened to a professor talk about what the American dream. What does it mean? And John mentioned about the Hmong community, about how against so many odds we came here and succeeded. Faster than so many other group communities that have come. And the reason why we had strived so hard, pushed so hard, was that we didn't just come, when people think about the American dream, they think about a lawn, a yard, a dog, a car, a nice suburban neighborhood. But when you talk about the American dream, to Hmong parents, the veterans, they don't see a yard, they don't see a dog, they see a country. They want to have a country. And Senator Herr mentioned earlier that, Hmong people are Highlanders. And I remember my grandfather telling us that in one day they didn't even know how to ride a bike yet, and they were learning to jump out of airplanes. We came from the Stone Age to the Space Age within 1 week. And they had to do that because of the war. They were losing their homes. Like the people in Ukraine right now. They were battling for their lives. And the special thing, I'm so happy that we have the T-28 as a national monument. Because it symbolizes the best of the best that the Hmong community has to offer. There are so many young Hmong Americans here, growing up here today. We're all just American kids living the American way of life, getting it easier than our parents and our grandparents. So we forget about the stories, we forget about the struggles, about what it means to be an American, the price that was paid to bring us here. The T-28. Some of the best Hmong soldiers flew in those planes right there, that same one. And when me and my dad were walking in through that door, we could see the flag, the Royal Lao flag. And we felt something deep in our heart. And so I want to thank you, John, and the committee members, to not just have a bronze monument, but an actual replica. And so it means so much to us. I'm really sad that the veterans couldn't join us. I know they really wanted to see it. And I remember my dad telling us that when he was still a schoolboy in Longchang, Limasite 20, the best and proudest moment was when Captain Lilu flew his T-28 over the schools, and he did a wheelbarrow before he flew off. That was the pride. And when we see this plane here today, we have so much pride in our community, in this country, in our neighbors, both old and new Americans, folks that had learned about all culture in our community to help us put this monument in Denver. And so I want to thank you all. I am so proud of it. And a little bit of message for Hmong. We have folks watching at home. Tao cho nhiều cho chính nó biết tôi bỏ kia lu thì nên ngồi gì nó. Biết cho lầu biển sao rồi. Lu nhớ hồng nó ở đất ở ra đánh nên tôi biết sẽ được nó. Để chính nó biết tôi bỏ kia cũng dùng sẽ chắc rồi. Bây một giờ ti tây chơi tu tây tu kỳ chơi ya chúng lu nhá hậu nó chỉ những blog kia mà lu nhá hậu nó ya tu chờ xe đâu bây trong đó bây một bây kiểu chỉ phá bây tuột su bộ phá tu su bây họ bây chừng chia xe ya vì một lu nhá hậu nó. This T-28, it was a lifeline for our Hmong community. We had 35,000 soldiers, and that wasn't soldiers that all fought at once. We were outnumbered in almost every battle, but the T-28 was that extra help that helped us survive and win those battles. Entire families would have been eliminated if we didn't have the T-28 to help protect us, to provide that shield, to be that umbrella for us, to protect us. And so this T-28 means so much to us, and I'm so proud to be here, and I want to thank all the special guests that took their time to join us. Colonel Klee, Speaker Hortman, thank you for remembering my speech, my very long speech. Senator Herr and Representative Hanson, thank you for opening up your district, and Mayor, thank you for opening up your home, South St. Paul, for all of us. And so I want to thank you all. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Representative. And finally, a letter from 4th Congressional District Congresswoman Betty McCollum, who is unable to be here tonight. She wanted to send her acknowledgement to the contributions of the Hmong community. And to read this letter from the Congresswoman, please welcome Sia Herr, Executive Director of the Council on Asian Pacific Minnesotans. And please welcome Sia.
Well, I am not slated to give a speech like the individuals who came before me. I'm actually here to deliver a message from our 4th Congressional District Congresswoman Betty McCollum. But I think it's appropriate for me to start off with an introduction of myself. Most of you in the audience know who I am. I am almost into my 10th year as Executive Director at the Council on Asian Pacific Minnesotans. It's been quite the honor to serve as Executive Director. And, that's the case for so many reasons, one of which is that Minnesota is home to the largest urban concentration of Hmong Americans, and that is our largest API ancestry community. So with that said, I want to just take a moment to recognize 2 other public officials who are here with us. They're very busy individuals, and yet they recognize the importance of such an event to not only the minds, but the hearts of Hmong Americans here in the state of Minnesota. And so they took it upon themselves to be here. So I want to recognize Commissioner John Harrington of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, Commissioner is way too humble. I did ask if he would address all of you, but he declined that opportunity. I also want to recognize Judge Adam Yang. Judge Yang is one of the 3 elected Hmong ancestry judges here in the state of Minnesota, and as such, he is one of the trailblazers. And so, thank you for being here, Commissioner and Judge Yang. I'll start off recognizing, and I think all of us in this room agree that Minnesota has a long history of welcoming new immigrants. And so it's no surprise, perhaps, to most Minnesotans it's not a surprise, but to others it may be. Minnesota is home to the largest urban concentration of Hmong Americans, and wherever you may live in the world, if you are Hmong ancestry, you know Minnesota, because that's where the stories are coming out of, right? Of Hmong ancestry people breaking ceilings, running for public office, acquiring degrees, that their parents and grandparents never even dreamed about. And so here in Minnesota, we enjoy an environment like nowhere else in the country. And one of the reasons why is because of our elected officials, some of whom are in this room with us. I'm always reminded of a Buddhist saying, rice doesn't grow in the desert. And you may wonder, how does this apply to the Hmong American story? Well, it's here in Minnesota that we've demonstrated what happens when government works hand in glove with its people. The people succeed. They overcome the circumstances of their birth. And in essence, that is the story of America. That is what the American dream is all about. And so this afternoon, I'm up here because Congresswoman McCollum, who most of us would agree is one of these great public officials that we have here in the state of Minnesota, is in Washington, D.C. for business and is unable to join us. And so, but she did send a beautiful message, and so if you'll indulge me, I will deliver that message to all of you. Dear National Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation members and friends, thank you for your kind invitation to attend the dedication of the National Lao-Hmong Memorial in South St. Paul. I regret that the congressional schedule prevents me from joining you in person today, but I want to extend my congratulations on the completion of this important memorial for Lao-Hmong veterans and all their loved ones right now and into the future. I applaud the hard work and investment from the community in this great state and across this country that have made this memorial a reality. This memorial is a poignant tribute to the 35,000 Hmong allies of the United States who perished during the US-led secret war in Laos from 1960 to 1975. Their sacrifices, your sacrifices, will never be forgotten, and their bravery and your bravery will be honored. This is a special place for families and community members to honor their loved ones and to remember the sacrifices made. Thanks to the National Lao-Hmong Memorial Foundation and all of its supporters, donors, and stakeholders involved in the eventual completion of this memorial. Since the end of the Vietnam War, Minnesota has become home to more than 100,000 Lao, Hmong, and others from Southeast Asia who resettled here. Hmong Americans have contributed to our state and to our community in countless ways, including as elected officials, entrepreneurs, teachers, doctors, nurses, judges, and of course, members of our armed forces. As your member of Congress, I am proud to represent one of the nation's largest Hmong American communities. I will continue to work with my colleagues in Congress and the Biden administration on citizenship pathways for Lao Hmong veterans and their families. And I, of course, am dedicated to ensuring that everyone has access to federal resources. Thank you and have a wonderful celebration. Sincerely, Betty McCollum, Member of Congress representing the 4th Congressional District in the great state of Minnesota. And with that, I will invite our MC back to the stage.
Thank you so much, you. And before my time is up, I want everyone to be challenged by this idea. What can I do? What can I do to make this dream a reality? Give toward the cause. Share this idea with others. And never stop sharing the stories of the brave Hmong soldiers and their families during that time. What can I do? And to close this evening's program, I want to welcome John Yang, who is an honorary board member of the Lao-Hmong National Memorial Foundation and today's program director. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I want to thank all my guests of honor and everyone for being here today. It means so much. And I didn't expect to be up here, but with the requests of the team, it's a pleasure to close out tonight. And I want to let you know that I wear this uniform today to follow the footsteps of my ancestor, to do something bigger than myself. You know, I have my business, I have my degree already. I could have just been comfortable, but I choose not to. I raised my right hand for a reason because I know what it takes to sacrifice for my country, for my people. That's why I'm here today. When Yangshi reached out to me 2 months ago, they had this huge project to take on, and I wasn't sure if we could do it or not. We were thinking about canceling this event, but I was like, you know, let me handle it. I'll carry it. And I sacrificed time with my other organization, community service, my business and everything. I had 4 hours sleep last night, to be honest, to make this happen. And, you know, I don't do it for myself. I do it for you all. I do it for my people, for all the people that sacrifice their life for us. That's why I'm up here. That's why I put so much work. And there's so many people in this room that I want to recognize, especially John Moran. When I heard that you donated the plane to Hmong people, it meant so much to me. I feel like whatever I did was nothing compared to what you did. For John O'Donnell, John Corbin, and everyone else up here. So the best I can do is just put my effort, be resilient, and give it my all to make this happen. Because like Tushon said, you know, we're all comfortable now. You know, we're living the American dream, but then we forget how we get here. And we didn't get here by luck. We got here by sacrifice. You know, so that means a lot to me to remember our roots, our history. And I wanted to join as the board because I know our SGU veterans, they're getting old. They're not here with us today anymore. So we need younger U.S. military to carry our history, our roots, to remember and honor all the lives that they put to sacrifice for us to be here today. So that's why I do what I do today, and it means so much to me just to know that when I look back and study the history, I didn't know about the T-28 until just recently, and I had to do my research. We had a pilot who was John Fulham. I appreciate you coming down from Arizona. You're one of the last Ravens that flew during the Vietnam War, and your partner's not here, but your wingman, Francis Vang. You know, he was here earlier, he was talking, he was crying, and he said that because of you, you saved his life. His life was in your hands. So it means a lot. There's so many people to recognize in this room, and wanted to just really express what this means to us. It's not about myself, but it's about us all. It's about, you know, they teach American history for a reason. So we know where we come from. So we know what we've been through to get to where we are today. And I feel that for us to come from Laos to the US, that was the turning point for the Hmong people. We had no country before, but now we have a country. And this is our country. You know, I'm proud to be a Hmong American, and that's why I serve my country. So to close the night out, I want to thank you all. God bless you all. Have a safe trip back home, and this isn't the last. So you're going to be here from us again. We're going to make this happen. Thank you.
Inspection, sir. Sir? Oh, hey, Judge.
Good luck.
Good luck.
I'll find you. I'm going to chat with the center.
Colonel, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, so we got Young in the back.